This DVD will help you with your stroke technique, a little bit with race strategy, and all of this is incorporated to make you go faster. And that's what it's about. If you improve every year, pretty soon you're going to be beating people that were beating you. And that's the name of our game. Go faster. When I teach any stroke, and particularly butterfly, I use the part method. I will take and separate what we teach in butterfly into upper body and lower body. Most important thing in learning butterfly is the kick. It's easy to learn, and it's very important to learn at a younger age so you can move them along. Sometimes we focus too much on pressing the feet together real hard in the kick. If you lock the knees together and the ankle bones together. But if you watch all the great kickers, their feet are a little bit more relaxed and they kind of flop out a little bit from being pressed totally close together. It's very important to look at butterfly underwater to see the distance that the toes travel. On rare occasions, the toes can come out of the water, but generally you want the kick underwater. You get on the surface, the main thing I look for is somebody's bathing suit coming out of the water when the hands enter and when they exit the water. When the feet kick down, the bathing suit comes out of the water every time. You notice that the bend in the legs is about 60 degrees, 60 to 70 degrees. I've seen some good flyers that bend almost 90 degrees. And you would think this would stop their forward motion, but it doesn't due to their position of their hips.
It's important to remember on butterfly kick that your range of motion, as much as you think your range of motion is, it can usually be a little bit more.
Once you've finished the underwater kick and you're going to be on the surface swimming butterfly, then the arms are the greatest propulsive unit, and we need to work on that.
A good sign of having an efficient stroke is to have very little splash on the surface of the water. This can be very difficult in butterfly because you are moving your whole body down at the water during the recovery phase of the stroke. But it's still an important thing to focus on to try and reduce the amount of splash that you have in front of your body. That's something that I try to work on in practice when my stroke feels like it's starting to fall apart. It's just trying to keep it efficient.
The hands enter about shoulder width apart.
Just like Eddie said, notice how the hands enter the water at shoulder width apart. As you're doing a lot of high volume training in butterfly, this will help your shoulders over the long run.
As they enter, head and shoulders go underwater. You can see that Ian's hands are nice and relaxed, they're not stiff. As soon as the hands hit, they start outward for the upper part of the hourglass. Once you're on the surface, the main unit for propulsion are your arms. So it's very important that you draw the right pattern underwater. And it's an hourglass pattern. If you were to stick your thumbs out as your hands come underneath your stomach, it would almost touch. This helps set up a relaxed recovery, which for any distance butterfly, you want to be working underwater and relaxing over the surface of the water.
The reason for the hourglass is to be constantly searching for still water so you can get the most out of your stroke. And also the second reason for it is to help the recovery phase of the stroke be initiated. As your hands pass your hips, they're sort of slingshotted past your hips and then into the relaxed recovery.
For all strokes, the head position is the most important item because it allows you to line up. The head gets in the water before the hands, but just slightly before the hands go in the water. Too soon or too late can throw off the rhythm of the stroke. By getting the head in the water means to look straight down at the bottom. If you are a one up, one down breather or one up, two down breather, depending on the distance of your race, your head position is really key.
Notice that when my head comes out of the water, my hips go down, and when my head goes back into the water, my hips come up and my suit comes out of the water, as Eddie was pointing out.
For Ian, we find out his greatest speed is with one up, one down, or one up, two down. If he tries to go without breathing or breathing twice in a 50-meter butterfly, it's not as fast as if he breathes every other or every third.
On your breathing stroke, it's really important to get your breath and then get your head back down in line with your body as quickly as possible. And on your non-breathing stroke, despite the undulation of the rest of your body, it's important to try and keep your head in line with your body line.
Look at the head position. He is looking straight down through most of the pull, and before the hands enter, his head is already down. This gives you a great shot of when the head goes down.
One of the most important aspects of having a good underwater dolphin kick is having a tight streamline. I would consider tight streamlines as one of the most effortless ways that you can increase your speed and efficiency and therefore get faster. Another key point to a good streamline is proper head position. Keeping your head in line with the rest of your body will allow your hips to have the greatest range of motion. In a good streamline, proper head position means keeping your arms tucked right behind your ears.
When you streamline off the wall or off a start and you're fly kicking, you can tell if you're kicking too big if you can feel your feet kicking the water. And that may not be something that the younger swimmers can get, but the older swimmers definitely get that. Notice the distances feet travel, and there's a snap at the end. It's almost like popping a towel. You get your greatest speed down there, and it starts the feet back up into position, so you get some pressure on the water on your up kick, so you're in position to start the next kick. And very simply, the faster you can kick, the faster you will go. This is very important for every age to work on the fly kick underwater. It is such a weapon to have for the fly, the back, the free, and the IMs. It's just very, very important. The only place the fly kick is not a plus for most swimmers is in the 50-yard freestyle. In the 100 freestyle, there are people that use 3 to 5 fly kicks and go fast, go 41 plus, and go 48 plus or 49 low for 100 meters. There is a difference of opinion on when to start the fly kick. Usually it is one body length off the wall or before you start losing speed. If you wait too long, you slow down. And it's so important to maintain your speed from a start or a turn. If you can maintain that speed and use your fly kick to extend it another body length or 2 body lengths or 3 body lengths, then you have helped yourself not only in that part of the race, but at the end of the race. Because the fly kick, even though you're holding your breath, creates less lactic acid than on the surface in swimming and using all parts of the body. One of my favorite and most consistent fly drills that we use is 5 kicks and 2 strokes. For younger swimmers, we can even go 4 kicks and 2 strokes. This helps them work on the undulation and still helps them work on the transition from the underwater phase to the surface. And they work on it without a whole lot of momentum, which will end up making it a little bit easier off the walls. There are 2 things to worry about here. One of them is keep your feet underwater all the time, and the other one is to move them fast. And the way we set the tone for this, most of our repeats with this are done at 50 yards or 50 meters. If you go 10 50s on 1:15 or a minute like this, pretty soon you've got a bunch of guys holding 24 to 26 where you're doing 5 kicks, 2 strokes. If you think about how fast they're going with this drill, then you know how important the fly kick is.
I think that the 5 kicks, 2 strokes drill is a great opportunity to work on having a tight streamline and transitioning from the underwater kick into the butterfly. Also, it's a great opportunity to work on breathing pattern. On this drill, you can notice that I don't breathe on the first stroke out of the water, but I breathe on the second stroke. which replicates my breakout in any sort of race or practice situation. You never want to breathe on the first stroke.
One of the best things we do for fly kick is the fly kick on the back. And we do most of it with our hands at our sides. This helps the swimmers increase the strength of their quadriceps, the strength of their stomach, and those are the main muscle groups that drive the fly kick.
One important thing to remember when you're doing this fly kick on your back drill is to have the correct range of motion. And if your knees and your feet are coming out of the water, then your range of motion is actually too large. You want your knees and your feet to just kind of come to the surface and then go back down.
When we do this in practice, we will do 5 to 8 kicks off the wall in a streamlined position, pull our hands to the side, and then keep our head straight up and kick hard as we can down to the end of the pool. It becomes more than a drill. It becomes part of your training program. And it teaches so much. It adds a lot of strength. After 4 to 6 weeks, their average times in repeat hundreds of fly kick on their back will drop 5 to 10 seconds.
One of the things that I think about when I'm doing the dolphin kick on my back is trying to have proper head position. If my head is in the right position, then I'll have a good range of motion with my hips. I notice that when I look down towards my feet on this drill, my hips tend to sink, and in order to try and keep my hips from sinking, I try and look straight up at the ceiling.
One of the main drills for working on the movement of the hips so that the bathing suit does come out of the water is a very simple butterfly drill. Do 3 left arm strokes, 3 right arm strokes, focusing on getting the head down and getting the hips up, and then take 3 regular butterfly strokes called 3-3-3, and that will really help you work on your kicks. And it slows them down enough that they can figure out what needs to be done on the kick. Because a lot of this doesn't get done until they figure it out. Doesn't matter what we give them, what we know, what we say.
On the 3-3-3 drill, Eddie talked about the fact that it slows down the stroke so that you can focus on getting the little things right. And one of the little things that I like to focus on is having the stroke timing correct on the 3-3-3 drill, which means making sure that you have one kick as the hand enters the water out front at the beginning of the catch, and one kick as your hands exit the water at the beginning of the recovery.
When he's doing his one arm, you can see his bathing suit actually gets out of the water more than when he's swimming. So it's a good overemphasis to have. A real important thing about any drills for any stroke is that they must be done correctly. So just because a coach gives a swimmer a drill to do, you may not be helping their stroke if the drill is done incorrectly. So while they're drilling, you must correct so that they get the drill right. Thanks for watching the DVD. I know this DVD will help you, and the whole point of it is to get you to go faster, and that's a lot of fun.